And we're recording. How fun is that? So welcome to the second Thursday edition of the Turing-way Collaboration Cafe, online collaboration cafe, because I had a fun experience of thinking that there was a Thursday, the 18th of September, which there will be in some year in the future, but not this year, not this year. So yeah, so I'm ridiculously excited that I'm not here. I haven't been by myself on either of them, even though I messed up telling everyone about them. So Malvika and I had like tons of fun yesterday, kind of actually cleaning up how to run the collaboration cafe and thinking about how to make it smoother. And we're here, and Natalie, I will ask you to introduce yourself in just a second, but first I'm going to share my screen, because hopefully this will share my screen.
Yeah, I can see.
Twitter. Is that Twitter or is that?
No, it's the GitHub page. The HackMD.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so this is the HackMD, and we like added in hopefully some like more useful information about what a collaboration cafe is. And this is the link to it, and it will always be this link in the future. So that's a really nice kind of, that should hopefully make things a lot easier. And you can go and sort of read about these various different things. And the one thing I want to just pull up is the code of conduct. Natalie has been to one of our events, so I know you know this, but I think it's still very important to say that we value the participation of every member of the Turing-way community. We want to ensure that, oh, this is like a typo. I think there's a pull request for that. That every contributor has an enjoyable and fulfilling experience. So we're particularly motivated to support new and anxious collaborators. So everybody is welcome, and we do not tolerate harassment by and or of members of our community. So there's some nice expected behavior down here of being respectful of different viewpoints, using welcoming, inclusive language, and being considerate of others' participation. But I think for the two of us on this call, I think we'll probably be fine. So that's all there, and people who are maybe watching this video and have questions about contributing to the Turing-way, you can always ask me any questions about that. So I'll stop sharing. Natalie, do you want to say who you are? And maybe you can also say what you're thinking of working on today.
Okay, so hi. I'm sorry I'm in like quite a dark room, but anyway, I'm Natalie Thirlby. I'm a data scientist at the University of Bristol. Yeah, so anyway, today I was planning, I'm actually not super up to date with like what's in the Turing-way like right now. But last time I contributed, which was at the Book Dash, so a while ago, I sort of only very just started a chapter about like IDEs and text editors and like basically like tools that can kind of help you. So I'm not sure what that is currently doing. But
probably just hanging out there being like, I'm in a branch.
Yeah, so if it's just chilling, then I'll continue to work on that. And if somebody wrote all of it, then I'll just be like, cool, and find something else to do.
That sounds amazing. That sounds really, really amazing. I was just doing some Googling, because so we have this new section here where we've got this conversation starters. And did you have like the big maps project showcase?
Yeah, we had it yesterday. Yeah.
How did it go?
Well, it was really good. Like lots of people came. We invited quite a few different speakers, and they were all really amazing. So that was like really, really nice. And so that was really good. And we could only really show off like the very we couldn't show the stuff about like bias and how that affects people's results, or like how like the results are affected by like people's background, but we got to show the multiverse analysis, and so that was really fun.
You couldn't show that stuff just because you didn't have time, or?
Oh, because we're still not due to the fault of the people participating, or like at least kind of shared fault, but we need all of the surveys back about how people interpreted their statistics, so as not to like add any bias in by like releasing them.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. Well, yeah, that was like a really cool project. So I put that in the shared. I've at least put the link to the event in the conversation starters section. So yeah, well done on running that. That is a very, very cool, super fun, and probably ridiculously difficult.
Yeah. It's quite difficult.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of admin as well, which
just
like
tons of emails and coordinating everyone.
Yeah, like splitting up the checking and sharing a mailbox, and just like really like organizing things.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I was having a conversation with someone earlier today about like how difficult sort of community management is to like budget and justify, because if you do it really well, it doesn't look like it's any work, because all it looks like from the outside is you've sent an email and got a reply and there's really no problem about it and you just forget about it. But like the amount of time that it takes to reply to emails, know what the answer is, all this sort of stuff. So, yeah, well done. Amazing. So you are going to work on your chapter, and it's just the two of us, so I don't think we need breakout rooms. Like, we don't need to both go into separate rooms. We can just go ahead. That's fine. I'm really excited about the breakout rooms. I did like a bunch of writing about them in this pull request that we worked on yesterday, because the idea is that there'll be like a silent main room, but then if you want to go and chat about things and collaborate together, you can go into these like breakout rooms.
That's cool.
So it's actually really cool, but it's like really for if there's more than 2 people.
Yeah.
so it's like a future cool thing.
Aspirational cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When we have n greater than, I think probably even n greater than 3, because even with 3 people, like one person's gonna have to go off and be in a room by themselves, and that still feels a little bit sad. So we're figuring this out. This is more for when there's like 20 people and we're wildly
when
exactly. But yeah, you are going to go through the project and just catch yourself up with that thing on IDs. I think that's an awesome chapter. I think that's really good. I am going to spend the first Pomodoro, I think, looking through and seeing if I can review and merge some easy pull requests. And then I think in my second or third, I might, we have a sprint coming up for planning, like how we're going to extend the Turing-way to cover lots of other different topics.
Okay, cool.
And I've done like a little bit of thinking about that, but it's not documented. It's just in my head. And that is not the Turing-way.
Yeah.
So I think those will be the 2 things that I do. So I have this super fun timer, which I can share, I think. Here he is. Can you see that timer?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Minutes? Okay, cool. So
I've always done 25-minute tomatoes before.
Yeah, I know, but
it doesn't fit as good.
It doesn't quite fit. Yeah. So because I think this like open discussion at the end is actually like, it's really useful. And if it's just the 2 of us and we don't really have anything to discuss, that's totally fine. We can cut it, we can cut it short a little bit. But actually last time, it's like if you do a few bursts of working, actually there's quite a lot of sort of ideas buzzing around. So yeah. I think that's when that's how we kind of make it all fit. So it moves it along a little bit faster.
Cool.
Okay, cool. I just want to do something different because I think we share this instead. Now you can still see this. And I'm going to stop recording once I press start, and then I'll put up like a cat timer when it's time for a break, Natalie. So
okay, cool.
keep it chill. Amazing. And just interrupt me if you've got any questions. I'm like tidying up and things like that. So if you get lost in the repo anywhere, just let me know. Cool. All right.
Well, let's do it.
Hurrah. Okay, so that was super fun. And we also have successfully recorded the first part because we weren't sure about that. We were about to tell everybody on the recording our names again, but we don't have to do that. And this is our last sort of 20 minutes just to use for whatever is useful and thinking about the Turing-way. Is there anything that you want to chat about, Natalie?
I should have made a note about some things because I kept thinking, I should ask that in the break, and I have not made a note about them. I know what one of them was. So I could probably find this out by like looking at the book that's already there. But I was wondering, like, in terms of the format, if there's like just a space where you can say something that's like a bit more like just your experience of something, like a bit more like of a rather than like this is the official Turing-way, just like, oh, I found this when I did this. So
we don't have any of those, and they have always been in my vision. And I think there's two reasons why they're not there yet, but it's I really, really want them to be in the Turing-way. So I'm looking at you, everyone at home, and also you, Natalie. I really want them in the Turing-way because I think that these like personal stories of like, this is what I found really hard, I think they are the most relatable things. So I think they are actually how people are going to come and really see themselves in the Turing-way community, right? Like, the more expertise we put in the book, if we don't balance it with those personal stories and like a photo of somebody and a little explanation of like who they are, we're actually just going to build something that's like more and more intimidating. Like every pull request makes it scarier to do another pull request or something like that. And I think the reason why we don't have those, one, I think is like, I think there's like a chicken and the egg thing. I think like once there's one or two, it makes it easier to sort of fold. So I think finding out a place to put something and like having that in there is really good. And then I think the other one is like, it's quite hard to find people who feel really comfortable with saying, this was what I found difficult, or this was where I failed, like, or this was, this is a project that I didn't make reproducible and this is why, or things like that. So do you have any thoughts on like how we get started with those sorts of things?
Well, I think, the main reason I was asking is because I was thinking for this chapter, like, I kind of just wanted to say, saying things in the abstract isn't as kind of persuasive. Like, I'm kind of describing, oh, this is a text editor and this is an ID. And then I think when I first started programming, I tried to use like, I don't know, some like really like feature complete IDE, and I was just like, what is going on? And then I switched to like something, and
you were like stuck in Vim for like ever, or V or whatever it was.
And then I moved to like Sublime, which I used for ages, and you can kind of like add things on like incrementally. but then I switched to PyCharm and I was like, where has this been for ages? So I just like got stuck with that.
So we need like a figure of your journey of being like, no, it's okay, and then yeah. Nice.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to be like, that they all have their place, but it seems like from this that like when I'm just describing like, there's these features and maybe you don't need them yet, or maybe you don't need them ever, or
So I think that sounds absolutely amazing, because so I use VS Code and I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to use Atom and I used to really like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard people say that they really like PyCharm. And then there's like a bunch of hardcore people who are like, Emacs all
Emacs for life.
And you're like, oh, you're really intimidating. Super glad you're happy with Emacs. And so I do think so one of the things that we say in the README is that the Turing-way is a lightly opinionated guide. So it can totally have some opinions in there, but I do think like choice of IDE is probably a little bit too personal for like the Turing-way to say you should use blah. I really like I love the sort of personal, so like we could find a different person who uses a different
thing and
IDEs.
why they like it.
And if we can't find anyone to like stand up for an IDE, then like maybe that tells you something, right? Like maybe we don't put that in. But we could definitely find someone for, we could find someone for Emacs for sure. We could find, VS Code, Atom, PyCharm. What other big ones are there?
Well, for our studio.
Yes.
Definitely.
Totally. And then what we could do is you could put like in a box. Like
I was thinking like like the warning boxes, but probably not red.
Yeah. Or I think we should ask Chris Holgraf, who like creates Jupyter Book, what ideas he would have for how you would format that. But or the other thing that you could do, I suppose, is just have like a picture and then a quote. You know how it formats it as like an indent and things like that. And that would probably work, right? Like because that's one of the things that I've said before when people have asked about this opinionated thing of like, it's actually okay to have opinion in there. I think it would be extraordinarily boring if we didn't have any opinion in there.
But
we just need to make clear what is like opinion and what is kind of we generally everyone
we agree on this, and then
so I think like using an IDE, most people would say that has a place and people should learn about what an IDE is and they should be able to make decisions around choosing it. But we're not going to tell people which IDE to use. So that sounds, I think maybe the photo of somebody and a quote. And you could even like write the quote and like just find someone who would then edit it to make it something that they said, to talk about the pros and cons. I think that'd be super, super cool. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah. And you could start with, you could even sort of in the pull request, like I love the journey, by the way. And like, I've got like an XKCD picture in my head, an XKCD sometimes does those like
a graph. Yeah.
So I've got like that in my head of this like journey. And it'd be really cool if you did like a longer sort of one of like, this was my journey. And then we popped up a few more with other IDs that people talk about. Like you don't need to do the full journey for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be really cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Mega. I love it. No, I think the personal stuff it's really important, and it's like I do think it's like a chicken and the egg. Like until there's some personal stuff in there, it's really hard to see it.
I guess the other thing is that, like, from your point of view of like managing it, like you probably don't want like too much of that. Like you want the balance to be right, and also people might be like, I don't know, more like fussy about that being edited out, or I don't know, hopefully not, but like
I really don't think that's like my problem. I think it's that people don't generate it in the first place. I think people generally feel really uncomfortable editing someone else's words.
Yeah.
Like, I just think, you know, that people put effort into writing it, and so even if you disagree with it, actually editing someone else's words feels quite like invasive, I guess, like maybe sort of like really critical.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the things that I've been thinking about, and actually it's one of the things that I think these, like, I'm not like mentoring you to do your first contribution, but these collaboration cafes, if people come along, I'm looking at you, camera. If people come along and they're like, oh, I found this chapter really confusing, then that's like a big thing that I'd be like, oh, and let's just rewrite it. Let's just change those words. And if someone like me gives people permission to change words, that's okay. But yeah, like, I can't imagine. Well, we just wouldn't change somebody's quote.
No.
Without having to double check it, right?
But yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, if somebody put in a quote that was like a bit weird, then you'd be like, oh no, this lives here now.
Well, I think it would have to. I think this is where the code of conduct saves you, right? Like, so the code of conduct, if like the weird thing would either be that it wasn't very useful, and that's, I think, you could like have a conversation about, or it would be overly opinionated about this is right and everyone else is wrong.
Yeah,
that violates the code of conduct, because actually accepting of other people's opinions is a core value. And so so I think I have experience with saying that's not very nice online, and so that's where I think that comes in. It doesn't just get automatically merged.
But that sounds good.
But I know I would love, I think that's a really wonderful example, and I'd really like to, that'd be absolutely perfect. Thank you so much for thinking about that. It's awesome. Can I ask you to, so you reviewed a couple of pull requests. I'm going to share my screen real quick. I think I'm going to share this one. Hopefully that's going to work. And this is our HackMD, and here are some pull requests. Okay, so are you a collaborator on the project? Like, are you able to actually approve them?
I think so.
Yes, you have. Yes, you've approved this one. This fix broken links. How fantastic! So thank you so much.
Yeah, you can see that first I forgot to say approve. So maybe you got a notification and then you were like,
No. I was writing other issues, so I haven't seen my notifications. And I did exactly that. I wrote this like great big long comment, and I was like, also approved in a different one. Okay, cool. So I am going to merge this, because thank you very much for that. And I'm going to merge. What was the other one that you reviewed? Is it this Travis badge to read me? Yeah, I really wanted that. That's very important to me. Oh, this now has an editor as a conflict. Right, hang on a sec. What have I done now? Oh, it's the number of contributors, I think, is. Yeah, here we go. It's just.
Also, I have a question in general. Like, so in terms of like, I feel like I'll just every now and again contribute to this like chapter, and probably might forget what I'm doing. So I've put some like to-dos in the comments. Is that okay? Just to myself, but
I think so. Yeah. I think so, totally.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. Why would you think that would be bad? Because if somebody else comes along? No.
Yeah, just it might like I guess like the whole thing is like quite obviously like a skeleton that people can change, so it's fine. But
what's the number? It's this one. So I suppose the one thing that you could do is is it actually ready for review, or is it a work in progress?
I mean, I could like put like the next push it to the GitHub for review. Like, so I think I did at the end of the book dash.
Yeah, and I think you
to see if anybody might.
So have you made commits today?
No, I haven't made any.
Okay. So you have this. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, now you can. So you have this ready for review IDs, editors, and notebooks chapter, which has this in here.
Yeah, and there's not that much in there. Well, yeah.
So I would say this is probably better to turn into a whip.
Okay.
I think, and then it's marked as a work in progress.
Yeah, and then will it? So what I'm a bit confused about is if it's a work in progress and other people want to work on it.
Yeah.
Not that that's like wildly likely in this scenario, but like in that scenario, is it better to, because it won't get pulled in, right? And will other people be able to like just change onto my branch and see that it's a work in progress and still contribute to it, or does it need to be pulled in?
So it doesn't need to be pulled in. They could do it's like totally fine, but it gets a bit like Git heavy where you have to do a pull. They would have to do a pull request to your fork.
Oh, my fork, yeah.
Right. But I think that's fine. I think, what about if we changed, okay, I'm going to edit this here. So addressing but not fixing this. This was started.
Yeah, I think I just.
Is it the London Book Dash?
Yes.
In May 2019. And is shipping. Do you ever check Gitter? Do you ever go on Gitter?
No, I haven't really. I mean, yeah. Obviously, I get like Git notifications about. I don't really understand Gitter. Like everyone I know uses Slack, and we use Slack for stuff. And it sort of seems like a similar kind of like. I don't know. Do I need another channel?
No, I know. So the big difference between Slack and Gitter is that you don't have to be invited to Gitter.
Okay.
You could just join. So with Slack, you have to get invited to the Slack workspace.
Yeah.
So do I have Gitter open here? Yes, I check Gitter all the time because I really like it. But it is the case that like not very many people like it. I have it like on my phone and I really like it, and and it scrolls very, very quickly.
Yeah.
The main reason is that you need an account to log in, and it works really nicely with your GitHub account. But that's all, right? Like that's
okay.
You don't need to be invited, and you don't need to sort of have anyone approve or anything like that. So I don't know. We originally had Gitter public and Gitter private, with the private stuff being sort of coordinating logistics and some, conversations about planning that, like about, for example, personal contributions and things like that, that people didn't feel comfortable making public at the beginning. And we had the private Gitter for like about 5.5 minutes, and then every member of the team hated it. They hated it like so much. And so our first meeting, they were like, I would like to propose that we do not use Gitter. and it's because it doesn't do threading. That's like one of the biggest things, and so it just goes whoosh bang. So yeah, I'm open to. We could make a newsletter. I'm just a member of like so many Slack workspaces that I like.
Yeah, same.
Need another Slack workspace.
Yeah, it's that's also true for me. But I do quite like it still. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Slack a lot. I just don't want to start a new one. But if we have to, this. But you could come and hang out.
Yeah.
Away, and you could set your notifications so that if you were tagged, you could see it if you wanted to.
Is there a link to it here?
It should now.
It's not in useful links in the
I know.
HackMD.
Links. Add it to the HackMD.
Well, I don't know where it is. Where's it hanging out at?
Oh lol. It's the thing that I just fixed in the README actually.
Oh right.
But the README, that PR is now broken because I committed to fix that. I committed to fix the merge conflict, and now this is failing. So my last request in just 2 minutes is, would you mind please reviewing this hot fix, which actually should be called a quick fix, to pin the Jupyter book to 0.5.2?
What is it? Have I got a
pull request number 691?
Okay. Oh no, I've just clicked the wrong thing. Oh no, here it is. No.
So this, like, I'm gonna just fix this title. And then I've made an issue for discussing how we're going to actually make it work with Jupyter 0.6, because actually it has like a bunch of cool features and it's better and all this sort of stuff. But every one of those PRs that I reviewed now can't be merged because the CI is broken because of this. So I figure if we can just merge this in, then we should be fine. And I'll fix it forwards.
Okay.
Oh,
so did you send me a pull request for the IDE's a notebook chapter, or just for something else? Or
no, so that pull request is already open. So I changed that one to that, and then this one of update requirements.txt to pin Jupyter.
Oh yeah, here we are.
Is number 691. Can you see my screen? Am I showing my screen?
Yes.
Cool.
But I just have them both.
It happens so often that I'm like happily pointing to everything.
But I didn't have it, like I have you full screened in like one workspace, so I just wasn't looking at it. But yeah.
Big head. That's what's going on there. I'm gonna have one of my ice cream truffles.
That sounds good. Okay, so I just need to review this. Good. Do you want to merge it? Shall I merge it?
Sorry, I'm muted because I'm eating my chocolate. I will merge it. Cool. Ready, steady, go.
Woohoo.
And I'll say thank you. So now that's in. Now I can go ahead and like rebase a bunch of the other pull requests and they should pass and everything will be okay. But the chat on Gitter badge is right here in the README.
Okay, let me look up.
So I can put that in the There we go. All about contribution guide. That we should have that as an action. Basically, like what is Gitter? It's like an issue that we need to do. right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Cool.
We'll come back. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again so much for coming along and joining me. It's been 2 very successful collaboration cafes accidentally in a row. The next collaboration cafe is on Wednesday, the 2nd of October, and that one is going to be at 3 p.m. So the first Wednesday of the month is at 3 p.m. UK time, and the 3rd Wednesday of the month is at 7 p.m. UK time. Do you have an opinion, Natalie, about early or late, or like times of day and things like that?
Yeah, well, despite the fact that I'm here at this late one, I think it would probably be better to do 3, because it's just like I already work enough hours, and I definitely won't like. I'll be like, yeah, I'll take some other hours off some other time, but like probably I actually won't.
No.
So so I think it's kind of good to not work too much outside. But if you've got people contributing from different time zones, then it makes sense to do 2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I think we'll give it a try, and yeah, I think encouraging toxic working hours is not the goal of the collaboration cafes. So
because it turns out that we're both just in the UK working really late. Like it's
really
like,
late. Yeah, exactly. Nice to be in the office at 9 p.m. How are you? Yeah, at least you're at home. That's
it's true.
Well, I assume you're at home. I mean,
this is my house. Weird office that I live in. I also just live in the office,
Okay, that's a fabulous sort of random point to finish on. But that was the office thing. It is an important point about like it's not the goal of encouraging toxic work-life balance. So next Wednesday is nothing next Wednesday, 2nd of October, 3 p.m. UK time, and same links as everything else, so you can just save those links, put it in your calendar. And thank you Natalie so much for coming, and I'm super excited about that chapter. That is a really, really cool chapter.
And thank you, Kirstie.
Oh, it's so nice. All right, see you. Take care.